I'm very excited to have my next guest join us. He's a very talented singer and songwriter who just dropped his debut EP called I Used to Think Forever. It is Porsche Betts. Dude.
How you doing?
Thanks so much for being here. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I just woke up not too long ago. Usually just like wake up in the morning and I don't know, kind of spend the first 2 hours doing nothing, make breakfast, and then I do stuff like this. And
so here I am dragging you out of bed to actually
no, it's
talk
good.
and put sentences together.
The more stuff, the better, because then you just get in the habit of, doing things. Just with like COVID, you got in the habit of kind of just staying in the house and on the couch for like months at a time. So then now it's like getting back to a normal human pace.
Tell me about it. Have you been able to properly form sentences? And I say this jokingly, of course, but people have turned into hermits and been more introverted during the last 18 months or whatever. And I know as an artist, you probably had Zoom sessions and whatnot, but otherwise, outside of work, have you just reverted back to just being in your own little comfortable space?
Yeah, even like when I like hang out with some of my closer friends, I'm just like, how do I even interact? Because like it's been so much of just like me being with myself or just like the person I live with. So I don't know. And I'm also like not the most coherent speaker anyway. So just having to like get back into it's been a whole thing, but it's cool.
What have you been gravitating towards, or what were you gravitating towards during that time in terms of inspiration or just making yourself full and keeping your brain active?
Mm-hmm. I was definitely like reading more. I mean, I probably haven't read like actual books since like eighth grade. And like high school, I was just like skim read it. But then like during COVID, I actually sat down and like read more books. I read the Red Hot Chili Peppers frontman. I'm gonna
Anthony
sound like a big
Kiedis.
fan. Yeah, Kiedis's autobiography. I
It's
don't
an
know what you
amazing
call it.
book. I've read
Scar
that a few
Tissue.
times.
And I read some of that. I read this book called How to Un-F Yourself and stuff like that. A bunch of like kind of motivational books, think kind of books, stuff like that. And just like making music and kind of exploring different genres. And I was in LA, so that kind of influenced what I was listening to and how I was feeling. It's always pretty sunny and stuff, so it was more upbeat and up tempo, happier kind of stuff. And I was dipping more into alternative sounds and rock sounds and even like singer songwriter stuff. I used to like rap before and like do stupid SoundCloud rapping, which not stupid, but for me it sounded stupid and I was bad at it, so I call it stupid. But I don't know. Yeah, I just the more time I spent with myself, the more I got to know myself, know what I'm good at, know what I want to do, know what piques my interest and stuff, and it was cool.
Any particular artists that stuck out during those exploration phases?
Mm-hmm. Definitely like Red Hot Chili Peppers. After I read the book, I was like, oh my God, these people are like dope. He's like literally like a rock star. People say they're rock stars now, but like back in the day, they were like real rock stars. And like people along the same lines as like maybe like Weezer and like Sublime and just like kind of like California kind of typical bands and stuff like that. But then I also like the classics. Like I like Frank Ocean a lot, Drake. I really like grew a weird thing for a Bon Iver during the pandemic. I would just like put on his albums and just listen to them in the shower like as I fall asleep, and they're just like kind of like very soothing and I don't know, different type of music.
There's something about the 90s alternative that just really is so comforting to a lot of people. It doesn't matter what era you were born in, I feel.
Yeah, I was like, I wasn't even alive. I was born in 1999. So like, I missed all of that, even the early 2000s. But like going back, I have a much more appreciation for it now. And I feel like also now we're in a time where that stuff is coming back, but also just like the acceptance to like, even if you're a kid of color and you grew up in a certain type of neighborhood and you have these certain friends, you can make alternative music. You can listen to stuff. You don't have to listen to hip hop. You don't have to fall in these lines and stuff. And that's cool to me. And like, I never thought that would be a thing because most of my friends listen to like, Lil Uzi, Lil Baby, which I listen to too, but it's not something I draw inspiration from.
Now, you grew up in New York, in particular Harlem. So
Yes.
I would assume that there's a lot of music and a lot of cultures that you're surrounded by, and the musical influences. Let's focus on that. So you just touched on rap music, but then also the high Hispanic population as well, right? With the influences that are coming there. What is your particular background?
My mom is African American and then my dad is Puerto Rican, so I'm like a mix of both. But I didn't really grow up with my dad that much, so I don't really speak Spanish. I know a little bit. I can dabble. I can understand some stuff. I can flirt with you in Spanish maybe, but that's about it. But I really like the different types of like stuff that's incorporated in Latin music with is like the cadences, the flamenco guitars, the strumming styles, just all this type of stuff. So I kind of like try to put a little bit in it, but I don't try to like pose as like, oh, I'm a Spanish speaker and like this is my heritage, because I really don't know much about it. I want to know more, but I don't know much. But I like how it sounds. So I think that's what I try to take from.
I like how you say that you're not too much of a Spanish speaker, because there you are throwing various words in Spanish and
Oh,
some
yeah,
of the music.
I could do a little word or something. And then people like make fun of me because I guess I said like whatever I said in my song, it didn't actually make sense. But I was like, oh, well, it sounds good. And sometimes that happens. And hmm.
And with this EP, this collection of songs, a lot of the themes center around your own personal experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
Relationships, but also anxiety. We always hear about the vulnerability aspect in terms of songwriting. Were you always a writer? Did you journal a lot as a kid? And now you're just taking those excerpts, so to speak, and making them into
Mm-hmm.
music?
I was always like a writer, but it wouldn't be about myself. I'm good at like writing like short stories or essays, whatever that type of thing may be. I think as I've gotten older and like, just seeing also my favorite artists like Frank Ocean, he's like so vulnerable and so open. It's like that's what people really connect with, and that's what you really got to do. Like, why make music if it's not gonna make you feel something or make someone else feel something? So kind of incorporate a little bit in that with that. And I think the first EP is very like vulnerable in a sense, but I kind of masked all that with fun beats and up tempo and good vibes and stuff like that. But if you really listen to the lyrics and pay attention, it could be stuff that's like, oh wow, this is like, stuff I could relate to, or maybe even a little bit on the sadder side, but it's just masked with, a happy overcoating. So I think as I go on, I'm gonna keep peeling back the layers and getting more specific and getting more just like bare bones and be like, this is what it is. And mm.
Any of those 90s alt rock influences that may have seeped in here that we may not hear, and I have to go back and listen to?
Yeah, definitely on Peanut Butter. A lot of people have been telling me it sounds like All Star by Smash Mouth a little bit. So I was like, yeah, I like that song. Well, I like that song really because of Shrek. And when I was a little kid, I was like, this song is a bop. And a lot of songs really just come from like movies and like Phil Collins and all of those type of like, I don't know, scores that we were younger and listening to. It's like, whoa, those are really good songs, even if you take them out of the movie context. So I guess based on that. And that's about it, really, I would say.
Now, now I'm glad you touched on movies, because I understand there's a short film or this
Mhm.
theatrical cinematic aspect to the videos that you're putting out here.
Yeah.
Where is this concept coming from, and where are you going with this?
I just want to like establish from like the beginning, like I'm a video person, I'm a visual person. I like to do stuff with like somewhat of a purpose. I'm not so much of a deep meaning. A lot of times it's just like I think it's cool and that's the meaning behind it. But just like putting it all together, like the peanut butter video was based on like kind of a Wes Anderson kind of feel and stuff like that. Handle was kind of based on this TV show called Euphoria and just centering around that. These last two videos I'm putting out for Whatever in November Rain are part of this short film that you were talking about. And I kind of just made the storyline on based of what the songs made me think about. And I just did it. It was kind of a last minute thing just because I like do that sometimes. I'm like, oh God, we should do this short film. And we put it together in 2 weeks and it was boom, boom, boom. But I want to definitely get with the music too, just everything progress naturally. And like, it might be like a rougher stage now, but the next EP will have even more polish and more polish. I don't think you need to like polish everything before you put it out, because if that was the case, I probably would never drop anything because I would just be so anxious, not perfect. But I'm okay with putting out something that I think is like good for now, but the next will be better.
Man, I'm looking forward to seeing you perform live. I can't wait for more new music from you. Great to meet you, and best of luck with everything.
Nice to meet you too, man. I appreciate you guys having me on here. I've never really done like a face to face kind of thing. It's always been like typing my answer. So this has been cool.